Confusion in chapels over the weekend. Some Sunday services were forced to be held out in parking lots, and then others allowed to open their doors, as you see in that shot. This has left some people upset and angry. Now, a group of pastors taking their fight a step further. They filed a lawsuit against the state. Channel 9's Ken Lemon has been covering the confusion at churches for days now. Ken, I know today you talked to an attorney trying to get to the bottom of what is allowed and what is not.
Yeah, and we also talked to the man behind this. His name, Dr. Ron Bately. He says he and his group, Return America, have already petitioned the governor to ease restrictions on churches, but got no response. He calls the governor's executive order a form of dictatorship and says the governor left them no choice. Dr. Ron Bately talked to me by video conference from his church in Winston-Salem.
It is not right to trample our First Amendment rights, our state constitutional rights, under your feet.
He said his group represents over 200 churches in the state. All of them, he says, are upset about the governor's order barring indoor meetings of more than 10 people.
We need the freedom to exercise our religious expression.
He said the parking lot services and virtual worship cannot replace gathering under one roof. He has announced that on Thursday he will file suit in federal and state court to grant churches the right to reopen.
First Amendment rights are God-given rights.
Today in his briefing, Governor Roy Cooper said he respects those rights, but he and medical experts say the risk of spreading coronavirus is much higher indoors sitting down, like in a church, instead of while up and moving around, like in a mall.
We're hoping is that ministers and church leaders will put the health of their congregations at the head of their thinking here.
Attorney Brad Smith told me Cooper's office will have to prove his point in court.
Most people haven't seen anything like this, and so there's not necessarily a newly printed playbook to go by.
And Smith says there is good standing, solid ground to challenge the governor's executive order in court. He says, according to his research, that order should only be good for 30 days. And after that, the governor's office should have to go to court, county by county, to petition to extend the order and those restrictions, Erica.
Yeah, very emotional situation with people and their concerns for their religion. Thank you, Ken. Here's a look at the rules right now. For most churches in North Carolina, you must have services if you hold them outdoors. You can either stay in your cars for a drive-in style service or get out of the vehicle as long as you practice social distancing outside the vehicle. That means staying at least 6 feet apart and people wearing masks. Places of worship will not be allowed to allow people inside the chapel until phase 2 in North Carolina, which won't happen until at least the 22nd of this month. And even then, it would only be allowed at 50% capacity inside.